Zombies exist on Earth. From recent media, zombies have worked into the recesses of our minds and our lives. Why is this? Media outlets such as books, films, recent video games have embedded the image of rotting virus-infected corpses into our culture. From science gone wrong to biological reality, from video games to real world, from what we can see to what only exists in our fears, the dead are dominating the world en masse.
I mean, no one's gonna eat your eyes.
Before we can figure out how zombies became so popular and scary, we need to figure out what common traits bind them together. So, the first question we need to ask is, what is a zombie?
Well, basically somebody who's, gotten killed in one way or another, either attacked by another zombie and has become a zombie.
A creature that has been slain and brought back through either medical or magical means.
The Walking Dead, a walking biped human.
Human, rotting in the ground, resurrected.
It's a walking dead creature.
With a singular goal and without conscience.
He has no brain and, no consciousness.
Zombie seems to be described as a creature with only one goal and only one purpose. Formerly human, recently deceased. All of these traits can be traced back to George Romero's film, Night of the Living Dead, which premiered on October 1st, 1968. George Romero has been given the nickname Grandfather of Zombies for his portrayal of the living dead as slow-moving flesh eaters.
We didn't see running zombies until 28 days later, and that was an infection. And I think that's the difference. I think that in Dawn of the Dead and Living Dead and some of the other ones where the people weren't necessarily dead, they were just under mind control of some kind. They weren't in control of their minds or their bodies. And I think the difference is that it's being infected or coming back from the dead.
Why are zombies scary?
They're already dead, and the fact that they're already dead and then you've got to kill them and there's only special ways that you can kill them, I think that makes them very popular characters. I guess too, it's weird because there's the whole, if somebody's dead and you see them up walking around, it's very scary. I know myself, I run a haunted house here, and the one thing that I guess I would say that I would be afraid of is the dead coming back to life.
Zombies sense your presence. You don't even have to be able to see them. They could be on the other side of a mountain, and as long as you're within that sensory area, the zombie knows you're there and comes for you no matter what it takes.
Why are zombies so popular?
The zombie culture is universal. Everybody's afraid of The Walking Dead.
And there's only two things I'm scared of: coyotes that live down here and zombies.
The Legion. In video games, zombies are a massive swarm of undead that get in the way and just need to be shot.
You have to look at all of their creations, all of their manifestations of these fears to really understand the genre.
We know zombies are scary, but they can also be funny. Such films have depicted zombies as comedic instead of just terrifying.
Like Shaun of the Dead, for example, really capitalizes on human folly and friendship. And how we're sleepwalkers, and how we let days go by without really paying attention to the important things of people around us. Whether instead of hanging out with a friend or getting on the phone with our grandmas, we watch TV or we play a video game, or we forget about our families until something terrible happens, like what happened in Shaun of the Dead. And I think that they satirize that.
Tonight, I'm gonna have myself.
Who the hell put this on? Some random.
For fuck's sake!
Okay, Diane, get them somewhere safe. David, kill the Queen. What's the jukebox? Liz, Ed, grab something weapony. What about the rifle? It's not real. Cocktails.
What do you mean?
The flaming spirits, Drambuie, Sambuca, brandy, get a racket. Light it. What? The whole place could go up. What then?
How about pool?
Stop me now.
Okay, John, it's time at the bar.
Time to slip and slide into the sky like a tiger, defying the laws laws of gravity. I'm a racing car, passing by like Lady Godiva. I'm gonna go, there's no stopping me. I'm burning through the sky.
I can't find the switches! Get the fuses!
Just why they call me Mr. Fahrenheit. I'm traveling at the speed of light. I wanna make a supersonic man out of you. Stop me now. I'm having such a good time. I'm having a ball. Stop me now. If you wanna have a good time, just give me a call. Stop me now. Good time.
You know, extreme situations bring out humor. You know, the crazy things that you have to do. So, you know, that you suddenly find yourself doing to stay alive.
Situation! I know! What's this? Hey, 2 seconds!
Burning through the sky. 200 degrees, that's why they call me Mr. Fahrenheit. I'm traveling at the speed of light.
Yes!
Supersonic world of you. Don't stop me, don't stop me, don't stop me. Hey, don't stop me, don't stop me. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Don't stop me, don't stop me. Good time, good time. Don't stop me, don't stop me.
And I mean, I don't know if you can call it humorous, but the irony is there.
Why don't you just shoot him, man? Ed, for the last time. I fucking knew it! What did I tell you? Big Al was right. Okay. But dogs can look up.
And even though that movie had thrills, and it did have humor, it was came back again to the family unit, sticking together, surviving. And it uses humor to bring that out.
Bertrand Russell once said, the only thing that will redeem mankind is cooperation. I think we can all appreciate the relevance of that now.
Video games, though, nowadays that have brought zombies to the point where they have been adapted and evolved into a creature that is more like, well, a stronger creature. They're more of a monster that can act, that doesn't die with one shot. They're not so much the Legion anymore, but now they're getting closer and closer to that point where a few zombies are enough as opposed to 100,000. There are a few games like Fallout which portray some zombies as good. For example, like I said, in Fallout there are feral ghouls, which are mindless zombies that are going to maul you, and then there are just plain ghouls, which actually are human beings who have been zombified but retain their intellect. They are still zombies. They reach the equivalent of a medical. They're not the undead, the classic undead and brought back to life. They either caught a disease, or in Fallout they were extremely radiated to the point where their body rots around them.
All the trees begin to moan, and the monsters grunt and groan, rotting faces.
That's ridiculous. But let's see. I'll definitely get my minivan. I'll pack my kids and all the food we can carry. I would pick up my parents, but my parents probably wouldn't want us picking them up, so maybe I wouldn't pick them up. I would probably pick up another able-bodied person along the way. And I think I would go west or north, where there's sparser country, you know, maybe the Midwest, because you can grow a lot, and you could also see a lot, you know, like you could build, you can see it coming, is what I want to say. And I think that's what we would do.
Yeah. Plain and simple, I've got my melee weaponry set up. I collect swords. Aside from that, I think it's going to be quite simple. 1, I take a sword. 2, I get in my car and I go to the nearest sports authorities, Dick's Sporting Goods, any place that sells guns and ammunition. I could even use a bow and arrow if that came down to it. Once I've got my ranged weapons as well as my melee weapons, I retreat back to my stronghold, which at this point I think would most likely be my house. My house is very defendable. I'd have to block off the lower windows and doors, but I can sit upstairs and pick them off. If it turns into a long time, glorious, epic battle, in which case I will be spending the rest of my life in a zombie apocalyptic world, I'm in a fertile area which has seasons and a good place for growing food. I can grow in my backyard and survive.
Okay, well, my zombie plan would be this, because see, owning a haunted house for 34 years, we've had plenty of zombies here. But I guess if it would have to be like in the movie Zombieland, I think we'd all make ourselves up to look like zombies and try to go with the flow, try to get in with the zombies and pretend that we're one of them until we can lose them or something. Either that or go to Disney World. I think going to Disney World would be awesome, and you could probably hold up in the Haunted Mansion down there or at the top of the castle. You could probably snipe them from the top of the castle, But I'd probably dress up as Mickey Mouse too when I did it, because that would be like really bizarre to see Mickey shoot zombies. Hey, they should come out with that movie, Mickey versus Zombies. It'd be awesome.
Hey, Tom, it's Bob from the office down the hall.
Didn't have enough coffee, Ben. Did not have enough coffee today. Okay.
So, what makes you an expert on zombie films?
Oh, what makes me an expert on zombie films? What makes me an expert on the zombie films? What makes me an expert on the zombie film? You know what?
I'm so used to the camera, but Billy Mays here. We got I'm sorry, my product just ran off. I'm done.
Thinking of all the video games you played with zombies, what weapons are your favorite to kill a zombie with?
Shotgun, first of all. Up close and personal, put a bullet between every piece of body part imaginable. After that, I'm gonna have to go with either a machete or a fire axe. Those are always fun, cleaving something in half. And then every now and then I like to refresh myself with a nice little bit of spray every single bullet out of my machine gun down the range and hope I hit them. Snipers are fun too.
Okay. We do the Haunted Mansion down here at Bowden Park, so we've done many themes over the years that have to do with zombies. This year it's an insane asylum, and the treatments that they're doing on these people actually turn people into cannibalistic characters. So it's very similar to a zombie, although we never use the word zombie. They are zombie-like. So we do this every year. It's 34 years. Visit thehauntedmansion.com for more details. Come down and check us out. We'll be here every year with a new theme.